Wow, hello. We did it. We had some technical difficulties, but we did a great shout out to the tech team. They worked out so hard. So yeah, I am Yaya Han. I'm going to give a panel presentation on the topic Beyond Social Media, Long-Term Success in Cosplay. And all of the things I'll be talking about actually also apply to any creator. So if you are an online content creator, whether you make music or you do a podcast or YouTube, whatever it is, or you're an artist, these strategies can also apply to you. So, but yes, for the sake of the fact that I am a cosplayer and my experiences in cosplay, I have sort of tailored this presentation to cosplay. So the presentation will hopefully, I'll get through it in about 30 minutes or so, and then we'll have maybe some time to take some questions. So feel free to raise your hand and ask whatever question you're interested in. And also you're welcome to take pictures of the slides. There'll be a lot of info on there, so you can take pictures, not a problem. And I will sit, because it's a lot to get through. Wait, do I have to point there? Okay, so yes, I'm Yaya Han. I'm a costume designer and cosplayer in the United States, and this is my first visit to the Czech Republic. I have been cosplaying for a really long time, so I actually started in 1999, but this particular costume is one of my worst, and I thought you would enjoy seeing the progress. So everyone starts somewhere, and this was me in 2000, and then, you know, I've been making costumes and cosplaying actively for 23 years now. And what's unique about me is that cosplay has been my sole form of income since 2005, which is kind of wild because the cosplay community really hasn't developed to that point, you know, to the point where you can make money with it until about 8 to 10 years later. So I'm definitely one of the first. I like to call myself the guinea pig of cosplay. If it's something, yeah, I was probably the first to try it, you know, selling prints, guesting at a convention, doing a panel, judging a contest. I was always among the first cosplayers to do it within the community. As a result, I have a lot of experience and a lot of war flashbacks. Anyway, so besides making costumes, I also design fabrics and trims, and they're sold in a chain of stores in the United States called Joann Fabric and Crafts. So this has been a big part of my life in the last 6 years. I believe 2023 is our 7th year doing a fabric collection. So it's really exciting to be able to design cosplay-centric fabrics and also, you know, trims and other items. I also recently, in the last 4 years or so, started helping to design EVA foam that is, you know, high density as well as easy to use and easily accessible. And I also make sewing patterns that are geared towards cosplayers. So if you look for Yaya Han McCall patterns, you can download them and print them yourself, or you can, you know, find them in maybe even a craft store here, because McCall's actually has a pretty good worldwide distribution. And lastly, I also wrote a book about the history and culture of modern cosplay. So it covers the last 20 years. Because coincidentally, I got into cosplay, I feel like at the start of its, you know, current modern evolution. And so I kind of rode along with it, experienced it, and was able to chronicle it in this book. So I have, I think, like maybe 5 or 6 copies left over at my table. You're welcome to flip through it if you're interested in, you know, all things cosplay and me. And there is a section about the cosplay industry as well as, you know, how to manage a business and such. So anyway, those are my accolades. So hopefully I know what I'm talking about and you will listen to me. So today the cosplay is a creator industry. It is no longer just in the shadows and in, you know, a underground hobby or something. You can actually get into cosplay and choose to do it for a living. And the global creator economy, you know, all creators in different fields, it is actually a $100 billion strong industry. So there is a lot of money involved. As you can see, many, many people make money through the internet and through, you know, online creatorship. I forgot my water. Do you mind? Sorry. I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna talk a lot this whole. Anyway, so I want to first go over just very quickly ways to monetize in cosplay, because you know it's like I think you're all pretty familiar with these things. So I'm just gonna go. I can't do this way. Spill it all over myself. So it's more like I'll just let you look at the slides and you know what like crafting educational content is things that help people make their own costumes. So tutorials, videos, you know, costume commissions, you make a costume, or wig commissions for people, templates and patterns and such. I'll take a drink. Okay. So, next way is the cosplay persona. This is probably the goals for all cosplayers, right? You want to have a brand partnership and represent a character for a company, or do an online promo campaign, or be an influencer and get invited to like a movie opening or whatever. You know, a lot of people, they also do convention appearances like what I'm doing. So this is me doing my cosplay persona, you know, income strategy. But then for those who maybe don't want to travel that much, they can also stream and build a brand that way. And then last, I always want to make sure to mention lewd cosplay, which is a totally legitimate way to monetize cosplay. In fact, it is very in demand. And so many cosplayers, they have whole strategies on building their OnlyFans, Fansly, or Patreon accounts, and they will do a lot of creator trips. They'll like, you know, pool their resources together. You know, the photographers get paid, the models, they can like all pool their money together and rent like a really cool location, do lots of photo shoots there, and then produce that content. Okay, so I think probably everyone thinks, okay, so to be successful in cosplay, it means you need to achieve a large social media following, correct? Like, this is gonna give you all of the things that you want, whatever it is that you want to do, convention appearances, or, you know, a company reaching out to ask you to portray a character. And kind of, I have 3 million plus followers across my platforms, and you may think, okay, so Yaya was very smart with her social media and has built that audience. And I'm here to kind of tell you, bullshit. So that is not the reason for my success. I will reveal the reason for my success later. Truly, to be a social media-based content creator, it's more like this. You're just constantly inundated with different platforms that you feel like you need to be successful on. And so it's like, how do you find the time to, you know, stream on Twitch, but also, you know, curate your YouTube and make enough TikToks, but then make them differently from your Instagram and such. So it is not a great way to go. And in fact, creators, including the most successful ones, are burnt out. This is actually through a study. It's just not me talking. There is a creator startup company called Vibely. They conducted a survey and spoke to 150 plus creators, from micro creators to huge successful creators with millions and millions of followers. And they found some really startling facts and stats. So 90% of the creators they talk to are burnt out, and 71% have considered quitting social media altogether. 65% of them cited the algorithm as the most taxing part about their existence, and they average that creators have to clock in 71 hours minimum per week to stay relevant on social media. Now, all of these stats, I didn't gather them by myself. I did this presentation, or a version of this presentation, first with Google for Creators. So Google approached me because they were like, you seem to know what you're doing, and we want to, do a panel with you and show it at VidCon and sort of like educate people on the nature of social media burnout. So a lot of the information was gathered together by Google and me, and we created this presentation together. So then I decided I wanted to do a version of it and bring it to conventions, anime and fandom conventions, because I think a lot of this information really needs to be digested, and no one talks about it. So remember when I said that even the most successful creators also feel this way? And that is truly it. Like, you don't have to feel like you're not doing well and you look at other people's numbers and think, well, they have it figured out. Like, no one has it figured out, because social media is not made for you to figure it out. It is like, let's see, this is what social media is. It is a hamster wheel that, you constantly have to fight against because you don't own your audience. The platforms own your audience. And there is a large dependency on brand deals, which means people trying to do whatever they can to go viral, gain numbers. And then when they get the brand deals, then there is that added pressure of those posts having to do really well. So many people, including me, have in the past sort of like begged for engagement, like, please go to my Instagram, please comment on it, because the brand needs to see that I'm doing well with this post. And that's not a great feeling. And of course, I don't know how many of you have been on social media since maybe 10 years ago, but there used to be a time where your feed was chronological and you actually saw like what people posted, who you follow. And now the algorithm has taken over and has dictated the feed and makes it completely different than what it used to be and what you might want. And then the biggest hurdle that I find with social media is that content has much shorter shelf life. So I'll go over each of these in a little bit more detail, and then we'll move on to some solutions. Okay, so I think the hardest pill to swallow was for me, for sure, is that I joined Facebook and made a Facebook page 10 years ago. And I put a lot into my Facebook page. I grew it. I took ads sometimes for it because my Facebook also promoted my small business. So I spent money on advertising on Facebook so that my page would be shown to more people would like my page. And there used to be a time where I could, make a post about a sale and people would see it and make a sale. I would get a rush of purchases. And now it's completely different. No one even uses Facebook anymore. And it doesn't matter that I have, just about 2 million followers on Facebook, because it doesn't, like, my posts don't reach them. My post is lucky if I reach 100,000 or 200,000. That's only people that may have seen the post. That's not even the full engagement. So all of that effort for 10 years that I spent building my Facebook has completely gone down the drain because I don't own my audience. My audience is not mine. And that is the thing you need to kind of come to terms with if you choose to be a creator on social media, is that every platform that you join, you have to agree to their terms and conditions, and they have the right to change their setups anytime they want. And so we all know, like, there also used to be a time where more risque content was okay, and that has changed now to the point where you can't even post like a bikini photo, or you have to be careful about posting, you know, TikToks with fake blood, or, you know, with fake guns or fake swords. And it's like, as cosplayers, there are so many limitations placed on us because these platforms are deciding how your posts get shown based on what their shareholders want. You know, so their shareholders don't want to get in trouble with the credit card companies, so we can't do show sexy content anymore. Or like they're afraid that the government is gonna, you know, regulate TikTok. I was talking about the US government, like gonna, you know, really come down on TikTok. So the TikTok is like, all right, we're gonna only show very tame, basic bitch content. You know, like nothing weird and interesting and out there. So I think that is definitely like the first lesson that you have to just be okay with. And even like on Twitch, I was like at one point gonna maybe start streaming on Twitch, and then I found out that Twitch takes 50% of like your income. 50%, excuse me, you know? So just because they host the stream, ridiculous. Okay, so the next one that I want to talk about is brand deals. Brand deals is like the thing that we all want. Now, I've been lucky enough to do some brand deals. I promoted the Oculus for, you know, or I promoted Resident Evil 4 for the Oculus. And so yes, Mark Zuckerberg at some point paid me some money. Capcom hired me to cosplay Lady Dimitrescu. I've cosplayed for League of Legends and, you know, other companies. So the expectation probably is like, oh, you get paid, you know, you get paid to cosplay. You can make a costume that will then be, you know, recognized by the official company, and you get to cosplay a cool character, and you get like a free Oculus, woo. But the reality is, I'm just going to be brutally honest with you. So the reality is that most of the time, you don't get to talk to the company itself. It's a marketing company that reaches out, and you are speaking to the marketing person that has like this bigger campaign and gets like the big bucks from Capcom or whatever the, you know, Audible, whatever other company. And they just nickel and dime you on what, you know, you create, and they also give you very little time. So they might be like, we need posts to go live in 2 weeks. 2 weeks is actually generous. Sometimes it's like 10 days. The posts have to go live, which means you have to submit the content like in 8 days, which means you have to record the content, you know, in 7 days, which means you have to make the costume that has to be in the content in like what, the 6 days? So it puts all of the pressure on you, and they just want to pay you a flat fee so you can take on all of the designing, crafting process, you take on doing the modeling, you take on, you know, getting people to take your photos or your videos, then you're editing, then you're basically art directing a commercial, you know, and then when you submit it, then it's completely at their mercy whether they like it or not. If they don't like it, they could come back and say, we don't like this part, change it completely. I've been asked like to do like not a costume over, but like to do the recording differently. And if I could put on the costume again, or I'm doing something right now where they're like, can you give us like photos of your costume as well? And I was like, that wasn't really in the deal. So you have to do a lot of contract negotiations. You have to be able to advocate for yourself and your value. And I think as a creator, that is definitely the hardest part, is that you don't know what your value is because no one talks about what the industry standards should be. because there are probably no industry standards yet. So you just kind of blindly guess how much you would charge for, making a full costume that then, you may not have made otherwise. That's the other thing I learned, is that I now only take on brand deals if the costume they want me to make is one that I would have made anyway. It has to suit me. It has to be something that I'm excited about, or is a character I'm excited about, a source material I'm excited about, because I've made multiple costumes for campaigns that I had no interest in, and I never wore them again. You think that, okay, well, I will have this costume, I'll be able to wear it again and make more content with it, I'll be able to enjoy it. But no, if it's not something that suits you, you're not going to want to wear it again. So, and the most, I guess, important thing with, if you want to choose brand deals as the goal to head towards, is that it is a lot of deadlines, and when the posts go live, if the post does not do well, it is a really crappy feeling. So definitely, whatever it is that you do, believe in it and choose the projects that you would have done anyway. Okay, so next I want to talk about the pressure from the algorithm and how it is truly crushing and feels like the sword of Damocles sometimes for us. It's sort of the pressure of needing to constantly post. If you are not posting every 2 days, or, every, I don't know, how many people post every day? how many people post once a week? But the thing is that the social media algorithms are set up so that if you're not posting for a period of time, your engagement goes down, and it shows you. It has the stats, right? You can go to your stats page and see exactly how many people you lost in the last 2 weeks. And they do this on purpose. It's a psychological tactic to remind you that you need to post and you need to create, new content to keep your audience engaged. I'm calling bullshit. I think that is that's not the way that you should be creative. Cosplay is supposed to be something that you do for enjoyment, and you should not feel pressure to post. It also sometimes is really disheartening if you make a post that doesn't do well. So people don't see it, you don't get very many comments on it, and I'm telling you, every creator feels this way. Even the biggest creators, the ones with millions and millions of followers who get thousands of comments, there is still a degree of expectation. If they post a new comment and they're used to 3,000 comments, or if they post a new costume and they're used to getting 3,000 comments on that costume, but they only get 1,000, they're going to feel just as shitty as you. It's all in scale. So that really frustrates me about social media, as well as the pressure to be on multiple channels, to have a successful Instagram, but also a TikTok, but then also a YouTube and such. And they all require totally different types of way of thinking on how to make content. Short form video and long form video are totally different in how you have to think about it. So that is definitely something that I want to note. And by the way, even if you make a really good post and you get a ton of engagement, that high goes away really fast, and it can make you feel even more nervous about your next post, because your next post is not going to do as well. So there is no way out. You're going to feel like crap no matter what. So I definitely have developed a lot of feelings on social media during the pandemic. And these are all thoughts that, I'm expressing through 2 years of being stuck at home. So why am I showing you this picture? Because I want to mention that Meta, and I think soon TikTok, they offer shopping platforms, right? They offer shopping built in, you can make a shop on your Instagram. People can shop directly on there. Well, I'm here to tell you it doesn't work. So I have made a shop on Instagram. I've made a shop on Facebook. This is a item that used to be available on my Facebook, and it was taken off. So Facebook just decided it doesn't want me to sell this anymore. And in fact, Facebook has removed, I think, 30% of all my products that I have like put on in the store. So I want you to guess the reason why they removed this print. Small engagement? No, not small engagement.
I was gonna say boobs.
Boobs, yes, boobs is a good guess, right? But somebody I think over there said it, yes, alcohol, because I'm dressed as an absent fairy. And they were just like, no, alcohol. So it's like, it's a robot, it's an algorithm that decides. I make resin cat ears and antlers that have been removed because they're like no animal products. I'm like, these are plastic. So it's completely out of your control is what I'm trying to say. So for you to be like, well, I'm just gonna build up my Facebook or Instagram so I can start selling on there, it is also at the mercy of the platforms. So the last thing, and probably the most important lesson I learned is that we have a short shelf life. Content on social media is ephemeral. It is there 1 second and then it's gone and people don't remember it. You can't search for it. You just have to I don't know, like bookmark it. I think, a couple platforms allow for that, but how good, like I've literally had to paste like links into a notepad before just so that I could remember them later on. This quote, you have a shelf life of 5 years, use it wisely. It's by Nazir Yazim from Nas Daily, which is a YouTube conglomerate that has, I think, 40 million subscribers. So he does this for a living. He teaches YouTubers how to be successful. And the first lesson he tells them is that you have a shelf life of 5 years. And I think that applies to all industries. Like, how many cosplayers do you know that were really popular and then kind of you don't hear from them anymore, or artists, or musicians in like the online content creator space. And people come and go because it is a slog, and you don't have that much capacity to do it for that long. I'm the exception. I've been doing this for 23, I've been doing this as a profession for 18 years. And that's why I'm here, is to share with you why. So we don't want this. We don't want the internet to give us a big, bird flipping us off. And we don't want to feel like, I don't know how long I can do this. Or we don't want to think, if only I had more time, I could make more content, I could manage more platforms. We want to look for the path of sustainability. So now I have depressed you for a very long time. So now let's talk about what we can do to combat these. So the first strategy is passive income. Passive income is everything that you don't have to actively work for. So take a look at what is considered active income. Regular content, any sponsored posts, if you have to do something or record something specifically to advertise a product. Convention appearances, this is my active income. I have to actively fly to the Czech Republic and put on a costume and be here. It's also handmade products. If you offer something that you have to make by hand, that is effort that requires your active participation. Any passive income are ads and affiliate links, things that you get money for just by people clicking on it. License royalties, that is my main form of passive income. I get license royalties from the products that I help design. I spend months designing them, I advertise them, and then when people buy them, I get a percentage. That's digital products, any paid downloadable content that is of value, as well as brand-driven merch like t-shirts, stickers, prints. I would count it as that, but you like people want you to sign it, so that still requires some active participation. Okay, continue on. Beep. Hello, Logitech. Logitech, come. The batteries are full. It worked just great until now. What happened? I want to share more strategies with you. Wait, let me try to go back. Nope, can't go back. I think it's like lagging because I see, oh yeah. Okay. I see me. Oh, we're back to the, okay, we're figuring it out. We got it. Okay. Yes, thank you. So, is it back? Nope, not yet. Okay, we're back. So the next strategy, besides passive income, that I want to talk about is really a switch in mindset, the 1,000 true fans strategy. So instead of looking at everyone as numbers, as an audience, start thinking about how you can create fans. So what's the difference between an audience and a fan? The audience follows you on one channel. They might consume your content because it came across their timeline, funny TikTok, funny whatever. But they don't care about your success. They don't care who you are. They have no financial contributions to you. They're not going to give you money and do whatever. And they're temporary because they will just move on and they will seek other content that were similar to that one that they saw from you. But a fan is someone who follows you everywhere and engages with your content. I have people that comment on my posts like repeatedly, and I like have conversations with them. Yeah, and the most important thing is your fans, they want you to succeed. They want to support you and see your dreams come true. And they are permanent. They will contribute financially to your success. You know, I have people that will meet me at multiple conventions. They have like entire binders of my prints, and they have to bring like a list of all the prints they have so they don't accidentally buy it again. And they are so invested in me continuing to succeed that it is just completely a different type of engagement than with a mass audience. So what you should stop trying to do is get to the 1 million people that like your content. Forget that. You don't need 1 million people to like your content to be successful. You only need to cultivate and curate 1,000 fans that love you and will support you. And if you look on, I think Patreon is a good illustration of that. If you look at Patreon creators who have 1,000 fans or more, or 1,000 subscribers or more, they are generally considered really successful. And that's really what it is. It's like, you don't need 1 million people to give you, money for you to pay your rent. You only need a smaller number of dedicated people. And you can start creating your content and engaging with your audience in with the mindset that you want to curate them into fans instead of having them just be a number and trying to achieve a higher number in each post, quality over quantity. And the last strategy I want to mention, and because it's getting kind of long, yes, 10 minutes, is just evergreen content. So the thing to remember is that most social media posts are not searchable. They can't be detected very well by search engines. And if you make a Instagram post or a TikTok that, goes viral, it might show up on a Google search, but it might not. So you need a different place to post your content that becomes evergreen. Evergreen meaning that it's always available, even 5 years down the road. If you made a tutorial about a specific technique, and 5 years down the road, a character becomes really popular. Everybody wants to cosplay them. You want to put your tutorial somewhere that people can search for it and find it just through regular internet search. And I've seen that happen before, a resurgence. Okay, so if social media isn't enough, then what? So there are options like the link in bio, which is kind of just like more links to other platforms, and now like Instagram is trying to do like, oh, you can put 5 links on your Instagram, woo, what? You're gonna put your Twitter, you're gonna put like another platform. There's Coffee, where you can just contribute a small amount, per project, and then there's like Patreon and such. So those are all semi-options, but in order to fulfill all these needs, direct access to fans, and their email addresses, which means like you can directly email them and send them newsletters, flexible monetization options, and creative freedom and ownership of your content, the solution is actually very simple. You can get all of that with a website. That's it. That's my panel. I have kept you here for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes to tell you that you need to make a website. And that is the secret of my success. I've had a website since 2003, before social media, and I've always kept it. And I will show you now some aspects about my website. So this is my Instagram, and as you can see, instead of a link in bio, link tree or whatever, I just have yayahan.com/links out, and hopefully this will play. So what happens is you can, yes, okay, so you can click on that, and I just made a page that has links, just like it would with a link tree. But you are on my website, you're on yayahan.com. So with one click, you can go to my main page, and at the bottom of each page, I have a newsletter box, and you can just like tap it and get newsletters, that I send out every once in a while to tell people what I'm up to. And it's a much more personal way to engage with people. And then I can also put things like my brand partners are right there on my homepage, and people who go there can see, oh, she's partnered up with Joanne and McCall's. Okay. So the other reason I love my website is because I have an integrated shop in the website. So I'm not using Shopify or Etsy or I can create my own shopping cart. And in each of my galleries, at the bottom of each gallery, there is a shop the look section with like items that sort of correlate with the costume. So people can buy a print of my Chun-Li costume after they viewed the gallery, or they can buy a corset pattern to help them make a cincher as well. And speaking of gallery, I can use my photo gallery to post as many pictures I want. I don't have to have the constraints of Instagram. It needs to be this specific, format, horizontal, vertical. Like how many of us have to like convert our pictures through like a square picture cropping app? I can post literally whatever I want. I can write a novel about how I made the costume, what the costume means to me, what a funny anecdote of the photo shoot. I can post a link to like a video that, maybe I made in costume. And it's just a way for me to be completely creative and present the costume fully. And I've done this since I had a website almost, 20 years ago. So I've curated a portfolio of hundreds of costumes, and it is there for you too. It's not just there for audiences, but it's for you to remember all the things that you have done. And if I didn't have my website, there would have been moments in my life where I would have lost all the photos and much of the content, things that I wrote about the costumes because, hard drive failures and such. But this is like a way for your work to be sort of immortalized as long as you pay for the hosting fee, which is not that much, actually. Okay, so in a whole, my website will not play this. Okay, it's fine. We're just not in. So my website is a full representation of who I am. I have a page on there that is all about the commercial collaborations I've done. So that's how Google found me. That's why they contacted me, because they went on my site and saw that I worked with other companies and I was reputable. Okay, thank you. And it is just a place where I can put everything about me. I can post about like my travels and personal blogs. I can post, process blogs and really just like rant about a costume. But then at any point, people can go and shop around. So, I can post all the TV shows I've been on, like what am I going to do? Like make an Instagram post about how I was on a TV show 10 years ago or something? Like, no, I'd rather put that on my website. And I know that the people who are interested will seek it out. And that's the point of having it, is that if you want to be taken serious in your craft, you want to have a site so that the people looking at you are not just seeing the, the last 6 posts you made. They can see a full picture of who you are. Okay. So this is a way that I would love for you to start thinking about social media. Use it as your marketing tool and use it in conjunction with your website. But make the website the home of your brand, the home of your creativity, and see if you can funnel audiences from social and direct them to your website. And hopefully they get to know you enough and they want to be fans of you. Or companies will see what you're about and want to work with you. And now it might be the question of, how do you make a website? It's 2023, nobody has a website anymore. It sounds really daunting, right? Like you have to hire a company to make it for you and pay thousands of dollars or something. No, today it's very easy to make a website. Really, really, really is. My website, spoiler alert, was made on Wix. And I know you've all seen YouTube videos with like the Squarespace ads. This video was sponsored by Squarespace. And the thing is, they do work. And I am able to put on my website everything from videos to store, to galleries and any configuration that I want. And it is, I think I pay for the highest tier, like business VIP or something, and it's still under $50 a month. And I feel like $50 to me as a business owner, it's totally worth it. And there are other tiers that are more affordable as well. And you can also make your own website through like WordPress, that is free. Or you can make a site that is mainly a shop, if that's what you want to do. There's Shopify and Big Cartel and such. So there are many, many different options. The most important thing to remember is to get a domain name, because you can buy a domain name in like 15 minutes, and you can go to Google Domains or there are other domain hosting sites. And I honestly recommend for everyone to have a domain, be it their name.com or whatever brand, because then that becomes your space on the internet, And so I got yayahan.com back in, I think, 2008 or so, before I really knew what I was going to do with it. In fact, it was my husband who was like, you need to get yayahan.com. And I'm like, why? He was like, just get it. And now I'm like so glad I have it, because if I didn't have it, I would probably have to pay many, many thousands of dollars to buy it from some like companies that just sit on domain names. So I would love for this to become your 2023 creator strategy. So think about how to diversify your income and focus on growing passive income, funnel audience from social to 1,000 true fans on your website, and make evergreen content that complements social media, but is not chained to the algorithm. That's it. Thank you so much. Time for Q&A if we probably don't have time.
Do you hear me? Is it all right? Perfect. I have just one question. How do you deal with a shadow ban? Like
Shadow ban.
Yeah.
I don't worry about it too much because I have a website.
Right.
I mean, it's honestly it's like a good cushion for you mentally. Because if my post doesn't do well, I'm like, oh well, you know, they can just go on my site and see it, you know. So I actually don't think about shadow bans really that much. You know, it's like, okay, that was crappy, but I'll just go on to make the next post or something. So it's like, that's the whole thing. It's like, if your entire content is on social media and you get shadow banned, then that's devastating because you don't have a backup, but your website is your backup. So.
Thank you. I have two more extra questions, so I will exchange and then come back to it.
Okay, so my question is more about people who get into your audience that might not come with the best intentions in mind. Let's say I'm talking, sure, internet trolls, but like generally, how do you deal with what I imagine it's a huge wave of comments, sometimes maybe not so positive?
You can read my book. I wrote about it in my book. I wrote a whole chapter on it and about my, like, how I dissect what it's like to be objectified and, you know, to deal with hateful comments and such, how I sort of put on my mental armor and protect myself, and how you can, you know, feel better. I don't know. Read my books. I do recommend it.
So if I can ask a follow-up question on that, do you do some kind of comment moderation in your social media platforms?
My moderation goes, if they cross a line, I just delete, block, and, you know, I don't engage. That's the thing. I don't engage in the negative comments anymore. I just delete and block them. So.
Thank you.
Samir.
Yeah. So, like, how do you schedule? Like, how often do you like update your website? Like, when do you focus on your social media, and when do you focus on your website?
I'm admittedly not great at that. I updated my website last night. No, not last night. Friday night, and I stayed up till like 1 in the morning to do that because I was like, oh yeah, I have some conventions I need to announce. So it obviously you can, you know, build in time. And I used to, for a while, try to make like Sundays my social media scheduling days as well as my website update days. And now that I'm traveling a lot and work on weekends, that is not working as well. So, but I feel like it's as long as you can definitely set like, I want to, you know, send out a bi-weekly newsletter. Every 2 weeks, I want to send out a newsletter. You know, every month, I want to post a blog or something. And then, obviously, whenever I have a new costume, that, you know, will get updated on my website immediately. And as soon as I get photos. And then it's just about keeping it up with events, you know, like try to keep it current with upcoming events and things like that. I have a booking page on my website too, so very conveniently you can fill out a form and book me directly through my website. So it all works in conjunction with each other. You need a website.
Yes, I do.
Sorry, I have another question. You said you are working on weekends. Wrong with me. You said you work in weekends also, so how do you, it's personal question, so sorry, how do you deal with your personal life versus your career?
I don't have a personal life, no.
Right?
I do work just about every day. I don't have 2 days off per week or something. And that's okay. Like, I'm passionate about my work. You know, cosplay is my life. It is still something I love to do. So crafting does not always feel like work to me. I like to craft on weekends because I don't get emails on weekends. It's really great. It's like a more, you know, relaxing time. And I've become better at listening to my body. If I wake up and I'm just like, man, I am really dragging today, then I will allow myself a day off and just veg on the couch, catch up on, you know, anime or games or whatever. And so every once in a while I do take days off, but not often.
Hello, I'm glad that you mentioned it. I just wanted to ask you, do you still watch anime, read manga, or any other things other than cosplay?
I love anime. Anime is very important to me that I continue watching them. I try to watch a few new ones every season, and sometimes I watch them subbed, like, because I like to enjoy them in the original language, subtitled, and so I'll do that mostly during like lunch breaks. If I have to eat, I'll like put on an episode of an anime, and it makes me very happy. It's like continuous inspiration, and yes, I read manga as well. I do binge manga though, so I have to like take the day off to binge, you know.
Yes, I know that as well. Thank you.
Yes. Any other questions, or are you guys happy? You can ask me more questions. Obviously, I'll be here for the rest of the day, and at my booth, I have the book. You're welcome to take a look at it, and yeah, thank you so much. Please come to the cosplay winners announcement at 1 p.m. We'll find out who won and who's going to the ECG and Tournament of Champions, and thank you so much for coming to my talk.